Hello, Al Pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents. My review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, new in theaters this week. I have seen it and wanted to share my thoughts on it. But of course, before I do so, caution, possible spoilers ahead. If you don't want to know anything about the film, now is the time to turn back. With that out of the way, my review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. An elderly Indiana Jones returns to his adventurous ways to retrieve Archimedes' dial of destiny from his goddaughter and then stop the Nazis from possessing it and using it to go back in time to kill Hitler and lead the Nazis to victory with a more competent leader. For over 40 years, Indiana Jones has been a name synonymous with adventure. The first three films of the franchise are rollicking action films whose quality few filmmakers have even approached. But the question needs to be asked. Does Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny show that Indy's hat still fits, or is it a sign that his time has passed? Sadly, I am leaning more on the side that his time has passed. Not because Dial of Destiny is a bad film. It's not. It's a bad Indiana Jones film. If this film bore the name of any other adventurer, I think most audiences would go away satisfied, having consumed their popcorn and spent a couple of hours being diverted from their humdrum lives. But this is Indiana Jones, and the audience expects more, and the film just wasn't able to provide his trademark brand of adventure. The story of the Dial of Destiny, it's serviceable for an Indiana Jones story in that an ancient relic that possesses a unique power. And once again, the Nazis, who are forever a perfect foil for Indiana Jones, are up to their usual shenanigans. But after the first 20 minutes, which is, by the way, a wonderful joyride, and the action is in the grand tradition of the film franchise, it time jumps to 1969, and that time period just seems wrong for an Indiana Jones adventure. Harrison Ford embodies Indiana Jones, even when he's a grumpy old man and he has to ask his neighbors to turn down the music. He does know his adventure days are well behind him and he is retiring. I believe Harrison Ford did a fine job with everything that was asked of him in the film, and I ultimately look at him, no matter how old he is, as Indiana Jones. And while the de aging was mostly good in close ups and low action moments, it did go into some bad video game range during some of the action scenes. Phoebe Waller Bridge as Helena Shaw feels like a tertiary character that was bumped up to try to carry the film alongside Indiana Jones. The writers failed the character by making her a selfish and greedy individual who seems to hold human life in very little regard. If the powers that be had plans of using her character for future projects or future franchise ideas, I don't see that happening. It would be a very bad idea. While the character is redeemed at the end of the film, the memory of her actions just ruined her for me. Having more Toby Jones as Basil Shaw, Helena's father, would have been preferable. Toby Jones was fun, and when he's on screen, his character is rather interesting. And poor Antonio Banderas as Ronaldo, he's given precious little screen time as well. Helena is given a sidekick of her own. Ethan Isidore as Teddy, trying to fill that short round void that I believe someone somewhere thinks needed to be filled. But sadly, the kid's irritating and unnecessary, and the character is just unlikable. Oh, to have short round back again. Thankfully, the film has a first rate villain. Mads Mikkelsen is superb at playing the mad scientist Nazi Voller with dreams of changing destiny for the Third Reich. He brings delightfully understated coolness to the evil character. The film does rely heavily on nostalgic callbacks through the appearances of John Rhys Davies as Sala and the touching reappearance of Karen Allen as Marion at the end of the film. Just a few moments of them on the screen definitely made the heart swell for the short time they were there. The musical score is adequate, though it's played by a seemingly uninterested orchestra. There's no zip or pep. The Raiders' March felt lifeless when it was played. A mediocre action film with The Great Adventure is still better than most movies people will go see, but the character of Indiana Jones deserves something more transcendent. Archimedes' dial may not really measure up to the Ark of the Covenant, the Sankara stones, and the Holy Grail, and I won't even go into what the dial actually does in the film. It's kind of convoluted. But I will say it is better than Crystal Alien Skulls. If I were to predict how the film is going to do, I don't believe it's going to have a great run. And I believe it's going to cost the film company millions and millions of dollars. Phoebe Waller Bridge cannot carry her own franchise. Harrison Ford is sadly past his prime. If they want to continue the adventures of Indiana Jones, maybe it's time for an expanded universe book series or some audio adventures. And maybe one day, if the stars align correctly and the right lead can be found, maybe a franchise reboot. But for now, we need to let Indy enjoy his retirement and find his way back to his lovely Marion. I think he deserves that. And the question is, what am I going to give it as a rating? It's pretty much on par with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I gave 3 stars to, because at the end of it, I did enjoy the time I had watching it. And yes, the film was full of flaws and some ridiculous moments. Dial of Destiny does not have those ridiculous moments. It's very much more straightforward. It's a satisfactory adventure. Dial of Destiny does lose a little bit because it's a secondary lead character of Helena Shaw just seems so damn unlikable. At least the strangeness of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is fun to joke about. 2.5 stars, really the best I felt I could give. I wanted to give it 3 stars, but I have to be honest with myself. Uh, the film is very much middle of the road. If this wasn't an Indiana Jones film, I think most people would be okay with it. I think they'd have fun. I feel like, for the most part, they had a decent time. But this is Indiana Jones. He deserves better. And like I said, they expect Phoebe Waller-Bridge this that character to continue. If that has been talked about, not a good idea. Uh, just an unlikable character for most of the film. She comes around at the end, but still, just left a bad taste in my mouth. Oh, and that kid, jeez, that damn kid. Oh well. I really wanted to like it more. Um, like I said, I liked it. Just hear what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I liked it. I wanted to love it, but it just wasn't there. Like I said, first 20 minutes, really fun. It's Indiana Jones. De-aging, yeah, a little squidgy uh, with the weird de-aging process. Straight on stuff looks good, but when they have him in the long action shots, it kind of goes a little goofy. Uh, but Harrison Ford, still a great screen presence. I just felt bad for him when he's like climbing and stuff like that. I mean, that had to hurt. Uh, but I hope you enjoyed this review of Indiana Jones. and the Dial of Destiny. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I really hope you do so. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in the weeks and months to come. If you did like this review, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and share it around. You know, tell people what Big Al thought of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And until next time, I hope you find something fun to watch. Take care and goodbye.